The wines from the Ronca vineyards owe their typical traits to certain natural elements. First and foremost, the beautiful moraine hills that surround the holding. These hills are the results of deposits that a prehistoric glacier left behind before retreating and giving rise to Lake Garda. The land on which the vines are planted is therefore very diverse. It has areas with a calcareous mineral base and others that are mostly clay, but the underlying layer is rich in varying marls that give the wines a unique flavor. The lake creates an ideal climate for the cultivation of vines. Moreover, in the vineyards surrounding the winery, there is a microclimate characterized by the constant wind, which helps the health and encourages the maturation of the grapes. Custosa and Bardolino are typical wines, the latter also present in its famous pink version, Bardolino Chiaretto. The common thread through these wines with denomination of origin is that, as well as being perfect drunk alone, they are also remarkably versatile and can be enjoyed with almost all food.
Il Custosa ha un colore giallo paglierino.
Custosa has a typically pale yellow color. The varietal aromatic notes of delicate white flowers and citrus fruits stand out to the nose, evolving splendidly towards saffron and minerality when aged. The Chiaretto has a beautiful pale pink color like the flowers of the peach tree due to its brief contact with the skins of red grapes. There is a big explosion of juicy red berry fruits on the nose, strawberries, blackberries, red currants. The Bardolino has a characteristic ruby red color and is extremely elegant and inviting. Varietal notes of Corvina stand out to the nose, such as blackcurrant, blueberry, and a delicate spiciness of pepper. All three wines are balanced on the palate and are remarkably drinkable due to the minerality and acidity of the soil, inviting you to enjoy a second glass. Alongside the DOC wines, the vineyard also produces a few wines that are the result of a special selection of autochthonous grapes, Garganega and Corvina.
Raccolte tardivamente e a mano.
Garganega is the white grape variety par excellence from the province of Verona. The wine comes from a selection of grapes from vines that are more than 40 years old and hand-picked in a late harvest. Intense and varietal to the nose, the wine has elegant notes of ripe peach. In the mouth, flavor and minerality are perfectly balanced. Corvina is the red grape variety considered the Prince of Verona. In the lake area, it has become part of the Bardolino grape family, but in this particular wine, we present a selection that comes from Corvina alone. Most of the grapes are processed fresh, while a small proportion is harvested in a box and left to dry briefly for 30 days. The wine is then obtained by pressing the slightly dried grapes and mixing it with the juice from fresh grapes, obtaining a ruby-colored wine with hints of spice and cherries. The taste is warm and velvety, with elegant and harmonic tannins, perfect with meat and barbecues with guests. To our great satisfaction, alongside all these typical local wines, we also produce an international wine which comes from 100% Pinot Gris grapes. In this case too, the grapes are the result of a special selection and hand-picking. The clusters are put in a press whole without being destemmed to obtain the maximum aroma with minimal transfer of color. The wine is extremely varietal, with highlights of ripe pear. In the mouth it is structured, balanced, and has a delicate softness. Both the classic wines and vineyard selections are aged in steel tanks to exalt the fresh and varietal aromas. Ulderico represents the top selection of wines from our wine cellar. It is named after my grandfather, who first founded the agricultural holding from which the winery originates. On the occasion of the 125th anniversary of his birth, We have created these wines as a result of patient and particularly painstaking work in the vineyard and in the winery. The Ulderico Red is a blend of 70% Corvina and 30% Merlot. Going back to the Prince of Veronese techniques, Appassimento, we created this wine, the result of slow dehydration in boxes for more than 2 months. The two varieties were subsequently pressed together, fermented, and left to steep for more than 15 days. The wine is then left to stand and aged in French oak barrels for 2 years. This wine is undoubtedly powerful, concentrated, and elegant, with significant alcohol content, but extremely harmonious and balanced in all its parts. The red color is impenetrable, and on the nose we find a wide range of aromas, ranging from blackberry jam to cherry liqueur, leaving space for toasted notes of coffee, dark chocolate, vanilla, and cinnamon. The taste is perfectly balanced, warm and silky. Its structure endures and suits the most noble and precious culinary combinations, such as game and braised meats. Its strong and refined personality means it can be enjoyed alone as a sipping wine. On the other hand, the Ulderico Dolce is a sweet wine made from the drying of Merlot grapes alone. The sugar residue is totally natural due to the use of yeasts that hardly bear the alcohol and therefore do not finish fermentation, leaving sugars in the wine. Once fermented, the wine is allowed to stand for at least 2 years in oak barrels and is bottled unfiltered. On the nose, we can pick up the typical aromas of dried grapes, plum jam, raisins, and sweet spices such as vanilla, coconut, caramel. In the mouth, it's absolutely intriguing and velvety, sweet but not excessively, the perfect companion for after a meal, combined with mature cheeses, blue cheeses, dark chocolate, or biscuits. All our wines are made thinking about guiding our customers through a sensory journey of organoleptic fulfillment, as well as covering all food combination requirements from aperitif to an informal dinner. All you have to do is taste them, or rather, drink them and savor them.